Hello friends, today we are going to tackle my tea cabinet. It is a hot mess and I want to bring you along for the creative journey of straightening, tidying, and organizing. So let's get to it. Okay, we're going in. Oh, in here we have mugs, hot cocoa, tea. Let's see what else we got up there. Stuff for Lucas's Nespresso, water bottles, more tea. So yeah, I'm gonna bring everything out and we're gonna start over because I know there's a lot that I can't see, and if I don't see it, I don't remember it's there. My whole family is the same way. So let's get in here and see what we've got. I would like to show for the record that I'm using a step stool, not a chair, not even the counter. So it's super safe. Just want to let everyone know that, particularly my husband, who does not appreciate me climbing up on the counters and trying to get everything. So yeah, I'm just gonna dump everything on the counter and start over. I think I'd really like these mugs to go up there because we have our favorite mugs of the season out in our little mug rack, and so these are kind of ones that we switch in and out, so I don't use them all the time. So I think I'd like them to go up there. I would like all of the teas to go onto this shelf because I am not super tall, and I would like to be able to reach all of my teas without trouble. And right now the way it's set up is I have like the medicinal type teas up here, and then the stuff that we use. Actually, no, I can't even say that. Things have gotten shoved all over the place this winter, so it's all out of order. And yeah, and I do need to refill some of my breakfast tea, so we'll do that in a second. It's just a hot mess, so join me in this hot mess. It looks excessive, but we actually use all of these teas. I'm going to stop and make, it feels like an ad, it's not an ad. I'm gonna stop and make one of these wild sweet orange teas. I like to throw a tea bag in a big thing of water with ice and just let it do its thing and refill the water over and over again throughout the day. So this feels like it'll be really refreshing to stop and have some water before we get into the organization. But yeah, everything is out, and well, everything is out that I want to be out. I left Lucas's Nespresso pods and some of his coffee paraphernalia up there. He mostly uses his Nespresso. We got it for him for Christmas a few years ago. He loves it. So he has extra pods, and then like his French press that he doesn't use very often anymore, an iced coffee thingamajigger. All of that is up there on the top shelf because he's the taller of the two of us. And yeah, it can stay there and it's accessible for him. So that's why I didn't bring it down. I kind of like moved it over into the corner. So yeah, so let's make some tea and then get started on the fun part, right? Okay, so I've got my lovely iced tea, which I'm sure there are tea aficionados who would like gasp at just throwing a tea bag in cold water because it doesn't brew the same way. I don't care. I use tea the way that I want to use tea, and that goes for a lot of things in my life. I do what works for me and try to let the rest go. So, that's really good. I've got, what my plan was before was I love these canisters. We got them at IKEA years ago. I wanted to have the teas that I use the most outside of my regular breakfast tea, rooibos stuff that I keep in canisters on the counter. I wanted to keep it accessible, and I wanted to keep it in these tins. So this tin has a lot of, it's all caffeine-free herbal stuff, which is great, but it's got a little overrun, and where it was in the cabinet, it wasn't super easy for me to get into it and to use it. So I want to reorganize this. I'd like to see, well, first of all, this one has plain English breakfast tea bags. I don't use these anymore because I really like my loose leaf tea from Tea Pigs, but it's nice to have these on hand for making iced tea, or just if somebody isn't cool with loose leaf. Sometimes people aren't. It's nice to have them. So I want to use these tins more. So since I don't use this tea a lot, I found in our Hoosier these canisters that Lucas had before we even started dating. They're that old. I'm sure they're familiar to people who are of a certain age because I feel like we all had these in our kitchen. So I'm going to put the English breakfast tea that I don't use often in here, and then I can stick it in the counter or in the cabinet in a space that I don't really need to reach very often. I'm not sure, I have this second one, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I really would rather have containers of tea instead of boxes. I mean, I think boxes are really, there's a certain aesthetic, it looks super cute, but they're hard to manage in a cabinet like that because the cabinet's so big. You throw something in and it just gets lost and it can fall behind places, and when the boxes aren't all the same size, it's just harder to keep organized. So I'm going to move the tea. I'm going to refill my Tea Pigs breakfast tea and just kind of dive in and see what we've got. Well, I think that looks so much better and more organized. So we've got our extra teacups and mugs up at the top, which I was kind of hesitating, wondering if it was time to get some of the more springtime ones, like those blueberry mugs over, but I think I'm gonna wait until actual spring. And then we've got Lucas's coffee stuff. Down here we've got the kids and Lucas's cocoa goods. I was also hesitating over these. We've got so many different food issues in our house. Paige can have these, but because there's apple in it, I cannot. So I was trying to put this someplace in eyesight of where Paige will see so that she'll remember to use it. And then we've got the cold type. Is this where I put the cold? No, what did I put in here? This is, oh, see? I already forget what I put in here. Oh, yes. Yes, I did put cold and flu type teas. So we've got the throat comfort, and this is the immune support. That's right. That is right. And so then we've got the more caffeine-free teas, and in here the fruit teas, which I think do really well in cold water to make iced tea. And then some of these, some of the bags of loose leaf tea that I didn't want to get rid of the bags because there aren't so many. I've just got them over here, like this English breakfast lavender and an orange spice. That's really good too. And then the mint teas, which frankly I don't drink a lot of peppermint. That's why I'm okay putting it a little further back. I enjoy them and it's a special treat, but it's not my everyday go-to. And then the little box of Darjeeling, which I think it's an adorable box. And then what I have extras of. So the refills for my breakfast tea are in the back. I've got another ashwagandha tea, and then yeah, just some other little stuff. And way back there is the gingerbread tea. Yeah, if you need a Christmas tea or just want to have a special tea that you go to each year, this one is by far my absolute favorite. It tastes and smells like December. It's amazing. All right, so we'll put that back here. Yeah, I am very pleased. Well, that feels so much better. Thank you for joining me in organizing my tea cabinet. I love tea, and part of the reason why I wanted to reorganize is because I wanted to remember that I love tea. I have IBS, and I have fallen into the trap of drinking fizzy drinks the last couple weeks, and I can't do that. It doesn't make me feel good. And I also don't drink alcohol, and I've been sober for a little less than 2.5 years. I could do a whole other video on that. I had 6 years of sobriety at one point, and then thought moderation was my friend, and it was not. So we're back on the sober train, which is a good train to be on. All that to say, between those things and my food allergies, I can get really bummed out over the fact that I can't have something special to drink a lot of times. Like when you cut out fizzy beverages, when you cut out alcohol, there's not a whole lot left. So tea it is, especially when you don't want to drink a lot of juice, because I mean, juice is great, but there's a lot of sugar in juice, and that also doesn't make me feel good. So tea it is. And the more I can enjoy the experience of going into my tea cabinet to pick out something that's going to taste good and to make me feel a little fancy, the more often I will do that. One other thing, this was a completely creative exercise. And so while This video isn't specifically on like, let's get creative and make something and do something. This is living our everyday lives and being creative in organizing and problem solving. That's what it means to be creative. And so when people say, oh, I'm not creative, I don't have a creative bone in my body, you do actually. The fact that you have survived this long on this planet shows that you've problem solved at least once or twice. You've had to figure out so many things in your life to get to where you are now. That takes creativity. Creativity might not always look like painting, drawing, writing, knitting. It comes in so many forms. And the more that we can kind of embrace that and be like, oh, this is not a chore, this is a, you know, we can look at it as a creative expression almost, that brings a little bit more joy to our day. It feels a little bit more playful. It just feels like joy instead of drudgery. So I think I'll leave it at that today. I hope the editing goes well and it kind of feels sort of fun to watch me organize. I don't know. I kind of like this video, so we'll see. So cheers. Be well, friends, and I'll see you soon.